You know, on today's The Right Stuff, I'm going to talk about tanks. You know, one of the things, this boat isn't one of those huge boats with a big built-in tank. This is just a fishing boat. It comes with a tank that you have to attach, and all the cables and everything else go over the splash well, and you kind of have a lot of apparatus there that I never really liked since the get-go. But when I go for a long up to Minnesota and we go to the cabin and we're fishing and we run I come back at noon or 1 o'clock and I know my tank's about a quarter left on it. I don't want to take the tank out. I don't want to bring another tank in. It's always been kind of a hassle. So I decided I'm going to figure out a way to make it built in, more or less, at least a permanent tank that I can fill up whenever I want to, like you would a tank that was built in. The first thing I did, and I don't know if you can see all this, but the first thing I did was took the tank out, and of course, and I put in on the top of this, if you can see it, that's actually it came out of it's for an engine mount that was the water intake into the intake manifold. I bought one of those from the auto store. I bought a hose that works well with gasoline, that's much like you would on a radiator hose, and then I go up to a standard gas intake that you can get from any marina that already has an inboard tank, and it all fit up perfectly. Then brought it in. Now once that worked in and sealed it up and made sure your tank, you had to drill a hole, mount it solid tight, and you make sure you get all the chips out of there, of course. But then once you get that, I don't want to be up here wriggling it back and forth trying to figure out if there's anything left or not, so you got to put up a gauge. So what I did is I was able to get a gauge. Also, there's a couple places that you can get a variety of gauges that you can create. Drill some more holes, you put the gauge in there and it sits on a float, it's pretty standard, and it gives a signal, and then you get actually a gas gauge for your boat. Now these are regular boat gauges here that you see, and I have the gas tank there on the left. I don't know if it will show up at this time, but the gas gauge on the left, so I can click it on. I know how much gas I got in there. Now when I come back and I'm going to go out fishing again, I can just take my 6-gallon portable and fill it up. That is sweet. Other than having any other tanks in here, any other things I have to worry about, I can always keep it full every time I go out fishing. And if you go to a gas station, you can do the same thing. You can fill it up like a regular tank. On the gauges, I don't know if they come out real well. We'll try to move this camera so you can. But I have the gas gauge, I have the trim gauge, and I also have, of course, the boat gauge. And that's what you want to have. Plus, I have a tachometer. I like the tachometer because it helps you control your revs of your motor. Kind of knows if you got a lot of people in the boat, if it's just two of you, you can kind of control it and get a little bit, you know, a better operation out of it. I also have a depth finder there, which I'll talk about the depth finders in another time. That can get real involved. But anyway, that's kind of how I set it up. The tank, making it real, and I really, really enjoy that. And it wasn't that hard, it wasn't that costly, and eliminated, as you can see, I have no cables. Everything comes through the splash well right here, so I don't have anything to come over the top. It's a sweet way to do it. It's very nice. Makes your boat a lot more comfortable. So hopefully that helps. Thanks for watching.